Morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. We are still on the Ramban on chapter 13, verse 2. It's around halfway through the Ramban, beginning with the words v'yitachen. Just to remind everybody, Ramban has a very different view than Rashi on things. The Ramban thinks there was nothing wrong with asking spies to go. The Ramban feels this is basic hishtadlus. This is basic effort to figure out the best way forward, the best strategy forward. Certainly not a lack of faith in God. And it's being responsible. Now it's interesting. The Ramban says, so why does Moshe ask, if the land is good or not? So what does that have to do with military strategy? And is he questioning God's assurances? So the Ramban said up until now that if you look at the pasuk, Moshe is talking about the Negev. So Moshe is saying to them, check the area closest to us if the land is good there. Because if the land, certainly the land of Israel in general is good, that's what God said it would be. But that doesn't mean that every spot of land is great. So let's start on an area of land that's fertile and good, because who knows how long we'll have just on whatever area of land we take first. So that's what Moshe Rabbeinu was saying. But now the Ramban says another possibility. It's possible. Ki Moshe, bavur sheyada ki hishmeina v'tova, k'moshe nemar lo, Moshe knows the land in general is good. God told him it will be good. Because of that reason, Moshe says to the spies, notice, do me a favor. This isn't why I'm sending you. I'm sending you to figure out military strategy. But once you're there, just take a moment and look around. Look at the size of the grapes. See how everything, that was a joke. See how everything looks. And surely you'll see that the land is good, because that's what God said. And the value of telling the spies to do that is because if you look for it, that could be part of your report. You'll come back, you'll tell the people, and they'll be very excited. They'll be only more energized and only more anticipating the going in. That's why he says, take from the fruits of the land. Just get the people excited. So that they'll see for themselves. Beretz Kanan Magas B'Tchuma Karv L'Mitzrayim. The Efshar Shel Yedu Adarm B'Mitzrayim Inyan Eretz Kanan Hatova Hi Im Ra'ah. The Ramban says the land of Israel was not so far from the land of Egypt. You could get there in a week. So it's not possible that the Jews who had lived in Egypt all this time had no inkling that the land was good. The Ramban says clearly the purpose was to give a military strategy. Now it's interesting. Ramban just got finished telling you, of course they know what's going on in the land of Israel. So then why should you even bring fruits if they know what's going on in the land of Israel? So he says, they don't have a good understanding of the land of Israel because they've been working so hard. They don't have the brain space to know what's going on if they would ever go on a trip somewhere or another. So show them the fruits, get them excited. But we don't need to send spies to find out if the land is good. We know the land is good. God said so. And we have general neighborly understandings, but we need spies for military strategy. Now the Ramban differs from Rashi in another manner. Rashi said that Moshe wasn't exactly sure how to approach this whole thing, so he asked God what to do when the people asked about spies. And God said, well, if you want, you can send. Ramban says he doesn't think Moshe asked God what to do. The meaning of send for you men, ki skimu lishloach miraglim. V'hoya b'minag sheyishluchu shnayim anashim miraglim cheresh leimor. V'sheyishluchu miktzosam. B'Hashem. Okay, so what would have been the logical plan if they would have gone in? The logical plan, if they would have gone in for spies, would have been to send 2 spies. That, of course, is what happens in Sefer Yoshua. They send 2 spies. V'Hashem ayodeo v'asido tzivosh yishlach ish echad mikol matos Yisrael v'shiyim nesiyim b'hem. So Hashem isn't talking about whether or not to have spies. Moshe decided to have spies, and it made sense to have spies. He doesn't have to consult with Hashem about that. Hashem says, fine, make sure to send 1 spy from each tribe, and make sure that they're prominent people. Ki chavetz Hashem sheyushavim be'inyan kol gedoleim ula yizkaru v'yashuvu el Hashem. Because Hashem wants that there be prominent people from across the spectrum of Klal Yisrael, that maybe the people will be moved to deal with it appropriately. V'im ayin sh'tiag zera shava b'chol ha'am. Zet tam api Hashem sh'ay mitzvah Hashem b'siyim v'rashay b'nei Yisrael. So really interesting. The Ramban says that God intervenes, and God says to Moshe, the way to go about it with spies is to have a prominent person from each tribe, because he's hoping that, and as Hashem knows people, Hashem knows people's challenges, Hashem knows this isn't going to be good. But he's hoping maybe the spies will give good reports. Maybe the spies can inspire the people, and if heaven forbid it's not, let the sin be caused across the spectrum of Klal Yisrael, as opposed to being from just one or two tribes. Va'anira enai elai lefi pshatei aksuvim kilo hiskir Hashem l'Moshe she'ilosam sheshoalu l'shloach meraglim v'lo askamas Moshe imoyam she'ilu keino yakasam b'saper b'kan ve'ikruvu b'nei Yisrael Moshe v'yomru nishtachan Hashem. So the Ramban says further that he really doesn't think Hashem is saying this as a response to the conversation Moshe had with the people about sending spies. Because if Hashem's statement to Moshe is a response, it would be that the people came to Moshe, they said such and such, and now Hashem says to Moshe X. But that's not what it says in the Psukim. Aval hoya ha'inyan kach, sheshalu Yisrael hashlichus, that the Jewish people asked to have spies. V'yita be'enei Moshe ha'davar. Moshe thought it was a good idea. V'achri kein ba dibra Moshe kishara dibros v'yamar lo stam shlach l'chvan Hashem. And then an instruction came to Moshe from Hashem, send men. Okay. Now, jumping in, I just want to see one more thing in the Ramban. It's about the fifth to last line of the Ramban. Vihine. Vihine hu anashim ha'ele lo nikfu b'shemos api Hashem. Kasher haya b'pekudim. It's interesting. Hashem doesn't name them. Hashem doesn't say these are the people you should send. We have elsewhere in Chumash, Hashem says these are the people who should be involved in the counting, for example. Ki mitzvah Hashem lo savavot hakala laosa v'shomer mitzvah lo yeda davar ra. You never lose for following the instructions of God. Moshe midato bocharas elu l'shalcham v'im gamlun l'nafsham ra. So the Ramban says that Moshe chose these people on his own. Hashem doesn't want it to be, again, Hashem is terribly concerned this is going to end up very bad. Hashem doesn't want it to be that people were involved in a bad thing because he said they should be involved in a bad thing. So he says, send prominent people. It's interesting shot of the Ramban. Okay. Just for a little bit of contrast, I want to see the Sforno. First Sforno on the Parsha. Sforno on Pasuk Aleph, Vaydaber Hashem Moshe limor shlach l'chon Hashem, al taniach sheyishlechuhem. Don't allow the people to make their own decisions. K'moshe amru lasos ba'amram nishlechon Hashem l'fonenu. In Parshas Tvarim, when Moshe Rabbeinu recounts what happens, he says that people came to Moshe and they said, we want to send people, implying we're going to create the committee. We're going to create the spy committee. So unlike Rashi, who says Moshe saying to him, Hashem saying to Moshe, if you want, send spies. Unlike the Ramban, who's saying that Hashem is saying to Moshe, it's not enough to just spend 2 spies, send a spy from each tribe. Sforno says that what Hashem is saying to Moshe is, Shlach l'cha anashim, you choose the people. Don't let the nation choose the spies. Maybe they'll send people who won't appreciate the goodness of the land. So maybe they'll have the wrong perspective on things. That's just an interesting shot in Shlach l'cha. And finally, I want to share with you the Kli Yakar. It's the second Davar Acher in the Kli Yakar on Pasuk Beis. This is just definitely a different shot. Davar Acher, Lekach Parat Anashim. Says the Kli Yakar, it means send men as opposed to women. That's what it means. V'yamru nitna rosh v'nashuv mitzrayma. V'anashim hayu mechavavos. V'yamru tnu lanu achuzah. The women lived with much more of an excitement for the land of Israel than the men did, right? We have a pasuk, the Medrash says that men said, let's head back when they had a problem. Women said, give us inheritance, the daughters of Slavka. The Alkain Amar, wait a second. The Alkain Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, therefore Hashem says, Vidati, Shani Roa Ba'asid, Hayosa Tov L'Shloach Nashim, HaMechavos HaSa'aretz, Kilo Yisapru B'Gnusa. God says, as far as I'm concerned, you should send women because women will appreciate the land of Israel and they'll have good things to say. Avalcha l'datcha. Again, so he's going on the l'cha. You, Moshe, you think this is all such a great idea. You think that the spies are super. And you think people are excited about going into the land of Israel? Tishlach anoshim. You can send men. In other words, so it's just another interesting pshat. The Kli Yakar is saying that God is not objecting to sending spies, but God is saying to him, you think that everybody's going to be so excited about the land of Israel. According to your thought process, men make sense. But you should just know it could very well be that it makes more sense to send women. Just definitely an interesting pshat. Okay. I've got 9:45, so maybe this is a good place to stop. We're actually going to go to the next pasuk tomorrow, God willing. Thank you for your patience.